Got knocked right out once. I think I was with Daisy and it came out a bit cloudy, but back then you don't want to be a weak prick, you try and kick 100. Yeah. 2 years in a row, you don't want to waste time coming off.
That certainly is the mark of the year for mine.
Warwick Capper was the pin-up boy of the AFL in the 80s. The larrikin with the blonde mullet and the tight shorts.
Electrifying Warwick Capper. What a start to the term from him.
Capper was the goal-scoring spearhead for the Sydney Swans, who'd use his opponents as a stepladder to take the mark and help put the game on the map outside Victoria. In the process, the man they called the Wiz became a cultural icon.
He's the Swans' answer to Jacko. Only with help from the team's chairman, Dr. Edelston, Warwick Capper is being portrayed as the Mr. Glamour of VFL. Fast cars, fine women, which go hand in hand with football fame. How do you think women see you?
I don't know, really. Just every sort of person, I suppose. Bit different.
So, how are you going?
Had a few tests, as you know, and it came back a bit ADD, a bit hypo, and a bit forgetful.
Yeah.
Jumped over different situations, conversations a bit easier. Yeah. A bit easier. I don't focus on one thing. Yeah. And they reckon that's some head knocks. The two psychologists said. It's funny, sometimes I remember things when I'm 12 and sometimes I can't remember things from last week. Yeah. And you reckon that happens when you get older? Yeah. They said that too. Sometimes I forget people's names. I meet so many people and I go, what's his fucking name again? Yeah. Then I've got to ask them again, it's embarrassing. Yeah. Oh, fuck, do I know this guy's name or your name? So you told me once, I say I forget. Tell me again.
Jess.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
I might remember that.
Yeah.
But see how it takes a while to comprehend it?
Yeah.
I'm probably average, I don't listen either.
I mean, look, he was living the dream and he was always wanted to be the centre of the show and still is. Warwick is Warwick, but you can tell he's changed, both in terms of demeanour and his ability, to recognise things. And
so I notice he tells the same story over and over again.
He does, yeah, which is classic for guys who have a brain trauma.
I think you beat us in Carl beat us in Detroit.
Warwick, when you first started playing football, did they tell you it was the sort of sport you could sustain permanent brain damage from?
No, you just didn't care back then. I started when I was 8.5. You just go for it. I think it's not a bad rugby league, hopefully, and just go for it. And then I did hit me a few times. They said, you're all right, just come off for a second and say, oh, you're right, yeah, come off 10-minute rest. Got knocked right out once. I think I was with Daisy and it came out a bit cloudy, but back then you don't want to be a weak prick, you try and kick 100. Yeah. 2 years in a row, you don't want to waste time coming off. I smacked my head real bad once because I fucking came right up and I used to fall on them. That's why they trademarked the name. Peter did, when the Cappers, the kids do it.
There's no bigger tall poppy ever, really, is there? If you didn't follow the Swans, you wanted Warwick to get belted. You just wanted that to happen, because he was the ultimate flamboyant showman. You had opposition players that were instructed, before the game, get out there and knock the shit out of Warwick, knock him out if you have to. You have these big, strong footballers that would, accidentally miss the ball and clip him behind the ears. So the amount of punches to the back of the head that he copped over his journey, you get knocked to the ground, you weren't a real man if you didn't get up and get back on the ground.
But a lot of times you do knock your head because you go double. Yeah. But you just try and put up with it and go, I'll be right. Yeah. It's changed a bit now. Now it's 3 weeks protocol. They check straight away. But back then they said, let's just have a 5-minute rest, have a drink, see how you're feeling. And they used to go like this. Oh, a bit Daisy, you're all right, have a rest. And I'll come back next quarter, answer your question. So it's just changed a bit, yeah.
It's changed a lot.
Has the wild child grown gracefully into middle age? Let's find out. Welcome, Warwick. What's the answer?
Welcome, Mike. Probably not too gracefully. I still like to get a bit of a touch-up and get my hair done, make sure the skin's smooth, and I'm happy to look about 37.
Even from just 10 years ago, when Capper was just as on the ball as he'd ever been.
If I wanted to hire you for a celebrity appearance at a function or a corporate event or whatever, what would it cost me?
Do a lot of those. Yeah, about $3 grand.
$3 grand?
Worth every cent.
Capper's still doing pub and club nights, but these days, more as favours for old mates.
I didn't care what you fucking beauty. I was there for 6 hours. I fell asleep, woke up. The trainer ran and said, get out of the airspace. The 747 approaching, please. I said, go and get yourself fucked.
What about your day-to-day life? How is it affecting you?
I'm a public speaker by trade anyway, so you have to talk 40 minutes in life, so just put a few notes down and remember. Which I had to do last year. I didn't have to do that when I'm good at it, but now I'm getting a bit older, you forget a few things. So I put 20 points down. That's how you're supposed to do it anyway, if you get lost. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I do get a bit lost the last couple of years. You change a bit.
Against, I'm getting hit concussion, I can't think. Gary Albertina. Give me a clap for that.
He's usually pretty sharp with things, but you can see that there's some basic things that just sort of fall off, you know, like forgetting names, forgetting stories, and he kind of gets some of the dates and facts confused, and facts have always been optional with Warwick anyway.
Some former footballers I know have been so affected by head knocks, they have to write down their whole day-to-day life.
I write my whole day down, I don't forget, in my phone. Just know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing, but I mean the tasks, you know, like my ladies run
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you see your mates struggling?
I'm a bit pissed off with the AFL. There should be, I wish there was a bit more protection back then. There should be a bit more care, but they call you weak, fucking prick if you go off too long. And now they come off every rest for 10. They change every 10 minutes for rest.
Yeah.
I played like 25 games a row, didn't come off once.
Yeah.
And train 4 nights and train 11 months a year. We used to have 5 weeks off. So yes, different.
Yeah.
You earn your money, don't you?
Yeah. A lot of the guys I know have been through a lot of addiction issues with alcohol, drugs.
Yeah, I don't really do them. I don't really like alcohol much.
And how are you feeling about the outcome of the brain scan?
I'm feeling a bit pissed off, but at least I know what's wrong though. I have to give him some medication for that, they said. 3 psychiatrists, 3 hours tests, and 3 MRIs. I said, how'd it go? She was not supposed to tell you, but pretty bad. I said, what from? She said, wake in the head. She said, yeah.
Is that what she said to you at the end? The
Yeah,
AFL test?
yeah.
She said pretty bad.
Yeah, she says you failed a fair few things. Some of that's from fucking hard though. She says, I said, how'd it go with that? She goes, no, not great.
There's no question that he's damaged. The AFL have over a long period of time known that a compensation fund is the only compassionate thing to do, but they are just a group of people who deal in corporate bastardry. They're the most awful group of people dealing with past players or past employees I've seen. I think the only comparison we can have is the James Hardy case, which is deny, defend, defer, and they hope. Many of the guys think that they're just waiting for them to fall off the perch and die before they deal with these claims.
But Capper's not waiting around for that. Like more than 100 other former players, he's decided to sue the AFL.
They know that Warwick's got frontal lobe damage, which means is that he has a huge problem in trying to filter right and wrong. So he doesn't know. This guy is an icon of the sport. He's created millions of dollars for the sport. They should have wrapped their arms around him and got him proper treatment, and they haven't done that.